thank you for receiving us and welcome to Los Cabos.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we know that you are changing right now roles from actress to directing.
Yes.
How does it came for you? Like, why did you decide to do this first?
You know, honestly, it felt like a very natural transition for me. I can't completely put my finger on exactly the moment that I felt like this was going to happen, but I directed several projects on stage in college, so I kind of had that experience of kind of telling the overriding story on stage.
So you knew that this was coming out in your career?
I think so. I mean, I naturally gravitated to looking at things in the big picture, you know, and then you just being on so many sets over the years, you start to pick up so much of the technical stuff, and you start asking questions.
Yeah, you learn from other directors.
Absolutely.
Which director you would say is your inspiration?
There's so many directors that I learned from just on set. You know, I mean, I learned so much from Gavin O'Connor and from J.J. Abrams and from Bryan Singer and from, you know, just working with these incredible directors. I had just so much that I learned doing that. But also, you know, I love cinema and I love film, and I watch and rewatch and rewatch and rewatch these movies that I love, you know. And so, you know, I love the Coen brothers and I love Wes Anderson, and some inspiration for Sundogs came a lot from the Hal Ashby films, where he always had these kind of outsider characters, specifically, and being there were some moments in Sundogs that were specific, kind of like winks to some things that happened with Chauncey Gardner, and being there, you know. So there are things that are in my film that are kind of nods to some of the stuff that I loved in the films that I've loved.
There's some of your personality in this new film.
Yeah.
I guess what kind of messages you say that we can see on the film that it's like your personality?
I definitely. You know, I think what drew me to the script in the first place is the answer to that, which is that I love the overriding message. And the overriding message is this idea that we do all feel like outsiders in some way, or we feel like misfits in some way, and that we do need a purpose in life. And in the search for purpose in life, oftentimes what we kind of miss along the way is the realization that if we're trying and aiming to be the best version of ourselves, that sometimes that's the best thing we have to offer to the world. And
so you think this is going to be an impact socially?
I hope so. You know, I mean, I think it's a really intense time in the world right now, and this is a film that people can they can sort of think through things, they can have ideas about how they relate to Ned, or how they sort of see the parts of themselves in this lead character, and ultimately walk away from it hopefully feeling like we can all make a difference one person at a time, and that we all have something to contribute. And so even though it's this kind of fun, crazy journey that Ned goes on to get there, I think in the end it's something we can all relate to, and it's something that is nice to have hope about, right? Especially right now in the world. Yeah.
So it's is it like the genre you choose is like comedy and love kind of a thing?
Yeah, it's interesting because like it's funny to me that people call Sundogs a comedy, because I didn't approach it like a comedy. I knew that there were funny moments, but you know, the actors and I really approached this as a drama, and we really wanted to ground the performances and have everything feel as real and as believable and as connected as possible. It's just that there oftentimes in life, very honest moments can be very funny, you know?
Actually, well, like if you go back in life, usually the moments that you remember, you make them fun.
Yeah,
so
or there's a levity or a sense of humor to the way something plays out, or an unexpected thing that happens in a very serious moment, you know? And so that's where the humor comes from in the film. And, you know, so I always say it's a drama with funny moments, you know?
Yes.
But I do think that I gravitate to projects that have, I guess that sense of levity that gets woven through Sundogs, you know, and knowing that that's people's. Hopefully, it's a way in for people. You know, it's a way for people to feel at ease when they're watching a project, and you kind of give them the space to decide how far they want to put themselves into the storytelling as they're watching. That's I think what I have enjoyed about a lot of the films that I love, is that I can see things that I relate to in it, or things that I go, oh man, I remember a moment like that in my own life, or oh gosh, I wish I could have that moment, or you know, like
usually people can relate to love stories. It's like a lot of people, but also the issues that some of the characters in your movie go through. This journey that you are saying, that sometimes we don't see, like outsiders maybe sometimes we don't actually observe everything. in looking at the big screen, you can realize that something's going through all this.
Yeah.
So yourself, you think you have gone through some of the troubles in your movie? In your family,
not these,
maybe?
yeah. Well, not these specific trials, you know. But I definitely, you know, I was always an outsider kid. You know, I was sort of an artsy, kind of weird kid. You know, I mean, I always joke that I was like born Tracy Flick, basically. You know, which doesn't necessarily make you a lot of friends when you're in junior high and high school. And so I was given the opportunity through kind of being a little bit odd and different at that age to have a different perspective or have an outsider perspective. And so I do gravitate to stories about outsiders, and I'm sure it's because of that, you know, because I sort of always felt like I was on the outside looking in, trying to figure out where I belonged and who I was and what I had to offer. And so you know, self-identity stories mean a lot to me, and I've gravitated to that as an actor and as a director. So you know, I definitely related to that feeling that Ned had of like, who am I and what do I have to offer? And I think that's a really universal thing that we all. Hi, Baja Press. I'm Jennifer Morrison, and I directed the film Sundogs. And I think you should go see it and enjoy it and hopefully like it.
Thank you very much.
Sure.